Well, this whole situation was very foreign to me because as an American, I cannot even fathom working for somebody and not getting paid. I started working in October of 2014 with my first job, and I always got payment. Always. It was never a thought in my mind that I was not going to get paid. I didn't even know that what immigrants go through. I'm from a sanctuary city. I'm from Philadelphia. You come in contact with a lot of different immigrants from different nations, and you will see them standing outside like
Home
at
Depot.
Home Depot 5:30 in the morning looking for work.
Looking for work.
And I never understood what they went through or how hard their life was until I met my husband. It's been a crazy ride, and like I said, as an American, I know my rights. If something were to happen to me, I know I can call the police. I don't have to worry. I don't as a black woman. Yes, it's the police. Some things can happen, but as an American, I know my rights. I know they can't just come in my house, search. But when you're not an American,
Who do you call?
who do you call?
So, little by little, I started to see my paycheck like dwindle until we actually were surviving off of $300 every 2 weeks. $300 every 2 weeks. So $300 to pay our bills, $300 to buy grocery, $300 to get diapers, get clothes, get this, get that for my daughter. Every 2 weeks, this man was taking money out and claiming stuff, and basically giving me $300 every 2 weeks. Hey everyone, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and also share the video. Alright, everybody, this is the video that you have all been waiting for. This is the video that we promised that we would start making, and here it is. First and foremost, let's go through some introductions. You already know the name of my channel, the Christian Jamaican Coolie, but my real name is Kermani, and this is my wife, Ashley. Say hi, darling.
Hi, everybody.
All right, so we're going to go through we're going to talk about what we're going through right now, what we've gone through, and also we want to make it a series in which we, you know, talk about other people's experiences pertaining to this type of situation, how they've been mistreated by people, and you know, yeah, we're gonna make it a series by doing that, where my wife and I will, or my wife herself too, will take the helm and basically talk about this type of situation on the channel as well. Um, First and foremost, two disclaimers. The first disclaimer is everything that we talk about right now through this series can be backed up with evidence. We just last week we just picked up, because our case is now settled. We just picked up all our filing, our documents, all our evidence from our attorney. And in another video, I'm going to be editing another video in which I'm going to be showing you with timestamps exactly what was happening. But we're going to talk about it first. We're going to go through this video. We're going to talk about it. My wife is going to tell you how she feels about what we were going through, and whatever. So the second disclaimer is this: we are it is nothing personal against white people, because we have a lot of white friends. They have been amazing to us. They have gone above and beyond with trying to assist us in our situation. So we even had a neighbor who passed away about a year or two ago. He was the most amazing person, and without that guy, we wouldn't even be able to find the attorney that assisted us with the situation. If it wasn't for that guy, a lot of the legal stuff that we attained, we wouldn't have been able to attain it. So we just want to let you guys know we're not dumping on all white people. We know that there are awesome white people out there, and we respect you guys and stuff like that. But we want to talk about the people who are really and truly trash. All right, so we're gonna get into the situation right now. We're gonna talk about the situation right now. So, we have a book where we wrote down all of this stuff. Oh wait, sorry. We wrote down all of this stuff for a couple of pages that we're gonna talk about. So, if you need to pause the video, get your popcorn, sit down, play some sad music while or we will put on some sad music so you can hear, get your feelings rolling. But do what you gotta do. But because it's gonna be a long sit down right now. Um. Uh. First things first, we don't need anybody to feel sorry for us. We're doing okay, and the Most High has been taking care of us, and we trust the Most High to take care of us. Genesis 50:20. Okay, so Genesis 50:20 says, "But as for you, you meant evil against me, but God or Elohim meant it for good, in order to bring it about as is this day, to save many people alive." So we're going through situations, we're going through hardships and stuff like that. We don't need to feel sorry for us, because we honestly believe that Elohim is bringing us through this, and even though other people meant it evil for us, it's going to be good in the long run. You understand? There are other verses that says, all things work to good for them that love Elohim, to them that are called according to his will. Which means that it's not everything that you go through is going to be good. You're going to go through some bad stuff, but it's going to lead to something good. It's going to lead to something successful, something progressive. All right, so without further delay, I want to talk about this situation. As you guys know, I've been telling you guys this for a while. We are moving. And the reason why we are moving is because, we just settled with our landlord outside of court to move in the next couple of weeks. But what you people don't know is that our landlord is also my ex-boss. And we're going to get into that whole situation. We're going to clarify, clear up. We're going to expunge that whole situation of how this came to be. All right. So, like I said before, grab your popcorn, because it's going to be, a very long video. All right. So, first things first, we want to start with, 2018. 2018 is when my wife and we got married, and we got married with our first child attending the wedding in my wife's stomach. You understand? She was, and guess what? It was just me, my wife, and the baby that was at that wedding. Just the three. We just eloped, basically, when we got married. And that situation is also for another video, because it's a whole other thing to explain why that even happened. All right. Anyway, after we got married and stuff like that, the landlord wanted to raise the money, because we had a baby on the way, whatever it is. We're not paying extra for that little place. And she's always complaining that even when I'm out leaving for work, she's complaining that I'm coming down the stairs too hard, and she has customers. And I'm like, woman, I don't have time for this. I have to go to work right now. I don't want to be late. So we decided that, okay, we need a bigger place. This landlord in particular too as well, she did not give us back our security deposit. She refused to give us back our security deposit. And we have proof of this as well. The apartment was not damaged. There was nothing that we damaged. We cleaned up, we vacuumed, we wiped down, we did every single thing to make sure that we would secure our security deposit back, and it was not given back to us. You know what she said to us? Oh, take me to court. You're not gonna get it back because you left before the lease was up. What? So anyway, in the meantime too, I started searching for a new job, because my last job with this woman, she was skimming on our check. So she will take $100 here, $100 there, and then when I approach her about it, because of my situation, she basically, it's like there was nothing I could do about it. You understand what I'm saying? So she kept doing that. So I decided, okay, I obviously need to find a new job. So I started to search this area in Pennsylvania called Bensalem. And, this gym gave me a call back. Several gyms gave me a call back. Went to several interviews. But the gym that I actually decided to work for was the one that gave me the kind of like said like gave me better promises for the future, like, oh, this time you get a raise, this time this time that, blah 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 blah. So started working for the gym, and I was coming home late at night because as a coach, basically, you have to teach recreational classes and team usually finishes about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock in most gyms, whatever. So I don't know how my wife felt about that, but I had to like start the grind because like I said before, the last job basically robbed us. We basically had no money, and we didn't want to even stay in the apartment any longer. So we were trying to like hustle every money we had together, find a place, get out before the next month was due. So anyway, working for this guy made some promises, blah 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 blah. I expressed to this person that we're looking for a place, etc etc etc, and it has to be somewhere close because I'm driving an hour from Philadelphia into Bensalem and back again at night. So it's kind of, I mean, even though it wasn't taxing on the vehicle, because my wife had this awesome vehicle, a Hyundai. What year was it?
2013.
Oh, yeah, 2013. It was an Accent.
Elantra.
Elantra. Okay. So my wife had a Hyundai Elantra 2013 and stuff like that. Was that when I sold my vehicle too? Did I sell before or after?
Before we moved.
Before we moved. Oh, so I already had sold my vehicle before we moved. I had a Ford Escape, a 1997 Ford Escape, and she had a 2013 Hyundai Elantra and stuff like that. But her vehicle was way better on the mileage because we had used that vehicle to go to North Carolina back and forth on one tank of gas. So that vehicle was like awesome. Anyway, so I was saying to him, I was expressing to him that basically we're looking for a place to live, and 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, doesn't matter right now, because we want a bigger place, because we don't want to stay where we're at. We don't want to be in fight with that landlord over the baby crying, because she's gonna complain that the baby's crying, etc. Because she had a
beauty salon.
It's it.
A beauty salon.
So she had a beauty salon downstairs and we lived upstairs. So every minute she would complain about a lot of things. So we were actually worried that she would basically complain about the baby crying. So we're like, we don't want to deal with this. So before the baby comes, we're moving out. That, along with some other, my wife's family situations, we were like, okay, we're not dealing with this. We're moving out of the way so that nobody can really mess with us certain ways. In any case, I expressed this to my new boss, and he was like, okay, I have somewhere to rent. I was like, all right. He took me to the property. I was like, wow, I loved it. Took a video of the property, showed my wife. She loved it, etc. And so on and so forth. We started to talk to him about moving in, renting, how much, this, that, whatever it is. So I was like kind of working there for a couple of weeks, and summer was coming up too. So, we were flat broke. Her mom was like a real, her mom was a real, big assistant in helping us like get through a lot of stuff. I felt ashamed because, I'm the man of the family. I married this girl, I took her off her job and stuff like that. And I didn't feel like I was doing a good enough job of taking care of her. And then I had a baby on the way. So obviously, certain instincts start to kick in where I decided that, okay, I'm gonna have to just grind and hustle this new job and just make money right now. So let's say we fast forward and stuff. We talked to him, and he was like saying that the rent is this amount. He's like, the rent is $800, um and whatever. And I said, okay, that sounds fair. So because of that, I kind of let him know that, yo, right now we don't have any money to move in and stuff like that. He's like, okay, that's fine. I'll give you the first month for free. Then the next month you're gonna have to start paying. Agreed. So we moved in. In
June 28th,
we moved in on June 28th.
2018.
Yeah, 2018. Our daughter was due actually on the day that we moved in, but she didn't come out. So our daughter came in July 2nd, 4 days before my birthday. So anyway, yeah, it is what it is. We moved in, and we thought this guy was a saint. Like, let me tell you something. When I went to the first interview at this gym, this guy is a master manipulator. You know what he reminds me of? A woman. This man reminds me of a woman when she wants to manipulate you with sorry sob stories. This is what this dude does. So when I went in there for the first interview, this guy did nothing but trash. And I mean trash talk every single worker that was working for him at that point in time. Not to even mention that the workers that this guy had, right, most of them were underage little white girls. You understand? Most of them were teens that were 15, 16. And it's about like, about three coaches. Three coaches and myself were the only coaches that were basically, adults in that gym. Everybody else was a freaking teenager. Right? That the man was like paying under the freaking table. In any case, right? When I came in, this guy was trashing them, talking about they don't want to work and stuff like that, and his gym is going under and stuff like that, and said, so whatever it is. So I started to work. So let me tell you something. This guy tugs on your emotional strings. Like every time this guy is supposed to like do something, he tugs on the emotional string so that he can get his way. Right? And that's what he does. That's his personality. He manipulates you like a woman manipulates a man. Anyway. So, let me see. Let's move on a little bit. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so we talked about their agreement being like $800 a month for the home. We rented, and the first month was free. Then the next month we were supposed to start paying like the $800 a month plus the money for the electricity. So because we're even desperate for a house, and we were running out of time because we did, like I said before, we didn't want to be caught in the apartment for one more month and had to pay to stay there. You understand? So it was kind of like a desperate situation. So we moved out, and by July we started paying rent, and then I was getting paid. So because it's summer, when it is summer in every gym across America, that's where I believe a lot of coaches, if they do summer camp plus do their regular hours, you can make a lot of money. So I didn't really make a lot of money that summer because I just started with them, started like, whatever. But I made enough for us to be like paying rent and living off of, etc., etc. It was not perfect, but it was being done. When September came around, he basically came to us with a $600 electricity bill. Right? At that time, it was just me, my wife, and the baby. There is no way on this earth that two adults can be burning so much electricity. As a matter of fact, right now, when we burn electricity, the most it ever got to, and there are times we left lights on all through the night and wake up at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and electricity at the end of the month is $150. So there's no way that we were burning $600 worth of electricity in this house. You understand what I'm saying? So the man came with a $600 electricity bill, right? And basically, I had to pay that, right? So, I found it to be strange. And then I started to look at my wife and say, all right, we'll go start watch how we use electricity, blah, blah, blah. I can't afford this. You understand? So we start to budget again. And because I come from Jamaica, the first thing you learn is how to making money last. So I start to budget and say, yo, wife, don't do this. Don't do that. Do this at specific time. Do that at specific time. So I kind of put my wife on clockwork. You understand? Then now, what happened afterwards now? Shortly after that, he came with the water bill. Now the water bill is due every 3 months. That water bill I kind of agree with because we've looked at the water bill and of course yes. But that wasn't a part of the agreement. The agreement was that we would pay the electricity and the rent to him, and then he would take care of the water. And the thing about it is that all of this comes out of my pay before I get it. Now, look, I know there are a lot of Americans that are going to tell me that that is illegal, but I didn't know about it, and my wife didn't know about it either, and she's a naturally born American. You understand? So, the man took advantage of me that ways. Who's to say that I didn't make certain amounts and he said that, oh, you didn't, whatever. Anyway. When I first came, I want to note as well that when I came in, the guy said, oh, I'm gonna make you the head coach. And this is after I did just a couple of classes and he realized my ability. He was like, oh, I'm going to make you the head coach and stuff like that because, you're better than all these, these trash workers and, they're just lazy and they don't want to work. And remember, this is a white person talking about other white people, Just remember that, This is a white person talking about other white people. Just giving you that note, right? So, and like I said before, most of my co-workers, they were children under the age, underage children working for this man under the table. Anyway, when I came in and I basically said, okay, I realized how unorganized it was and he was complaining. All right, I took the helm that he gave me and I started to have meetings with these other coaches. Not the two main coaches that he had because those were two adults that they were basically carrying their own weights, and from their personality, I realized they were not into the foolishness with him either. You understand? Even though they worked for him for years, and whatever it is, they basically showed me that they can hold their own, but they're only doing what they've been paid to do. They're not going above and beyond for nobody, which I respect and think. After a while, I was like, yeah. I realized that people, when you push out your best and do that for companies and they don't even reciprocate by putting that in your check or anything like that, you should do the bare minimum for these people because they don't give a frick if your car broke down. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of things that I'm going to talk about with this virgin, a lot, and this is just part 1 for now. Right? What we're going to even talk about tonight is barely going to even scratch the surface of everything else that we're going to talk about. This is just like the introduction to this personality. You understand? I don't even know you can call the person a narcissist. But I do call him a master manipulator. You understand? He's a master manipulator. Manipulate people's feelings, everything, whatever. Anyway, so where was I? What was I saying?
You were.
You know? So, alright, so I said that, he was trashing the workers, and, I had meetings with them. At first, they rejected, like, my leadership. But after a while, like, everybody started to follow it because they realized that, you know, I know my thing and I knew what I was doing. So regardless of my skin color, these people, because at first I thought they were like, who is this black guy coming in and thinking that he's just gonna take over and blah 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 blah. But no, after a while, like, everybody started to follow and they start to listen. They start to, like, do the things that I told them that they should be doing with classes, etc. I know they still had, like, problems. There's one in particular. She, like, she was messed up. She's messed up. Our whole entire family is messed up and stuff like that. And that's not my story to tell. But whatever, everybody else started to fall in line a little bit and start to listen now, whatever it is, and things were going good. Anyway, so little by little, I started to see my paycheck, like, dwindle until we actually were surviving off of $300 every 2 weeks. $300 every 2 weeks. So $300 to pay our bills, $300 to buy grocery, $300 to get diapers, get clothes, get this, get that for my daughter. Every 2 weeks, this man was taking money out and claiming stuff, and basically giving me $300 every 2 weeks. And that was separate and apart from the agreement that we had. Right? Alright, so when that happened, I was like, alright, I'm not going to bitch, moan, or complain. I'm going to grind. I'm going to do more hours. So I developed 2 programs. I developed a Ninja Warriors program for the man. Very successful class. When the Ninja Warriors class was built, when I developed that program, it started with 7 kids. The pricing was good, and there was a parent who basically, like, bought the class for the whole entire year. A year full of classes in Ninja Warriors. Just to let you people know. Alright? So, the other thing I developed at that gym is clinics. And when I mean clinics, back and spring clinics, tumbling clinics. This was never done in his gym because he complained. Oh, the parents don't want to support the gym. Oh, the coaches don't want to work. So I said, okay. I developed clinics and I developed boot camps for teams. And I developed boot camps for team, whereas my team and the other team that was in the gym would come to my boot camp. And it was so prevalent that I did the boot camp so many times that the other 2 coaches, they copied what I did and did their boot camp too as well. Right? That idea didn't come from them. That idea came from me. You understand? And we would charge the per child, we would charge them $40 a child, $30 to $40 a child. So around 10 to 20 kids would come. So $400 to $800 was made on those boot camps, on those clinics. And I would end up getting, from my work, even though I was the person running that clinic, even though I was the person who was there the 2 days in a row for 3 hours running those 2 clinics for those 2 days, I ended up getting $30 for those 3 hours that I run the clinic for both days. While he sucked up the rest of the money. Alright. Let's move on. Now, so, like I said before, even though I made these programs like the boot camp, the clinics, and the Ninja Warriors program, the class, and it was running well and he was receiving more money for it, every time it came to pay me, he started to say things like this. Oh, the business is not doing well. We're going under. I don't know how long we're going to stay open. You know what? You're the best worker. Everybody else is so lazy. Without you, the gym would have failed a long, long time ago. All of that manipulation to get me to continue working for the little bit of money that he was giving me. Right? But in the same breath, when he wasn't paying me, because there are times that he didn't pay me, period. Right? And it's just because we had money saved up. Like, whatever money we could save up, we saved up. There are times we had like $600 saved up and we was living off of that $600. It's like, I don't know where we got money from. Praise God that we got money from wherever we got it from, and put it down and saved it. You understand? But every time he did something like this and did not pay me and say the bullshit about how the business is not doing well, the business is going under, he doesn't know how long the business is going to stay open, and things like that, we had to buckle down, tighten our bellies, and basically use our savings. Alright? So, in the same breath, this virgin was still collecting rent, electricity, and water from me. Even though the agreement was this, that whatever I worked, it would have come out of my pay before I got it. And he's claiming, oh, the business is not doing well and stuff like that, so I can't pay you. But still collecting money from me. Alright? And this is what I was going through. Right? And let me tell you something. You know what's really good as a husband? To come home to your wife and your pitney. The best thing after hearing that bullshit, come home to my wife and my pitney and play with the two of them. Play with my pitney till she fall asleep. Then we'll go up on the switch, me and my wife. Yo, what you do? Stop it, man, stop it. Best thing ever for me. That was the best stress reliever in my life. Coming home to my family. Coming home to the two of them. You understand me, I say? Right? So while I taught recreational classes, clinics, ninja warriors, team, pre-team, right? These are all the classes that I was teaching. I was doing the most hours in that gym. I was doing the most programs in that gym. I was the person who was developing the children. I was the person who was basically selecting kids for which team that they were going to go on. Whether it was going to be on the USAG team that they were going to be put on, or the USA IGC team to be put on. You understand? That was me. The other coaches were not doing that. They weren't. And he complained about it left, right, and center. How nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to do that. You're really wondering when you're not paying people? When you're working people and not paying them? You're a thief, dude. You are a thief. Listen, if this video ever reached back to you, I want you to know that. You are a thief. I've said it to your face, and you almost got beat up in court. If it wasn't for my wife, you'd have gotten beat up in court. And you know that. You know that in front of the judge and in front of your attorney, you almost got your face punched in. You're a coward, dude. You hide behind the legality of your attorney, but you're a coward. You're taller than me. You're bigger than me. You're heavier than me. And you're afraid of me? You're a punk. Let's move on, darling. Anyway, I did the advertisements for this man's summer camp with my graphics designing skills. I downloaded through Kazaa. Kazaa is still a thing. I can't believe that Kazaa is still a thing. I use Kazaa, BitTorrent, uTorrent and BitTorrent, and downloaded programs like, to make advertisements for his gym, for summer camp, for boot camp, for this, for that. And I can guarantee you, if you go on his website, you will still see those advertisements that I made for his gym. Not one of those things were paid for. Not one. Not one. All right? So, fast forward to 2019 summer. As I told you before, the bullshit of constantly not paying me, the bullshit of constantly manipulating me. Summer basically come around, 2019 summer. Now, for those of you who are not aware or you're not really knowledgeable about summer camp with gyms, most summer camps start from June and in August. That's a 3 month spread period. You understand? And we ran summer camp from basically 8 a.m. in the morning till about 3 in the evening. Then after that, I had to go and teach my recreational classes. After my recreational classes, I had to teach my team. And then at 9 o'clock, I had to close the gym. So that's basically 13 to 14 hour days. You times that by 5, that's about 65 hours a week. You can calculate it. It's about 65 hours a week. Right? Now, let me do some math for you because I already did the math. When I was finished doing summer camp, this gentleman owed me 12 grand and I documented it. I made sure I documented it. You know why? Because I didn't want a he said, she said situation. I didn't want a situation where certain things went missing and there's a claim that I didn't do it upright or anything like that. So every time I go anywhere, I've learned to document what I do. So I documented it, I calculated it, sent a picture to my wife. We started celebrating that, we have 12 grand to look forward to. So the 12 grand was going to be to, buy a vehicle to get my green card done, right? And also to move out and get our own place. So when I approached this guy for my money, for my 12 grand that I rightfully earned, rightfully worked for, right? And rightfully should receive, the bullshit starts again. Oh, I don't have the money. You're such a great worker. Everybody's a piece of shit. Nobody wants to do nothing for this gym. Well, you have done so much for this gym. Without you, the gym would have gone under. And let me tell you something, people. I didn't just did the summer camping. I had to play secretary as well. Right? I had to play freaking secretary as well. Taking people's checks, payments, writing receipts. I have documentation of everything that I've done. Right? So, when this bullshit happened now, him said this all. Then he said to me, let's make a deal with the house. Let's make a deal with the house. I said to him that basically, no. I told you before that I needed the money to do my green card paperwork, to file for my paperwork. And I want to move out of the house because I didn't want to be under his thumb. You understand? I wasn't planning on leaving the gym, I just wanted to be paid, so I didn't want to be at his house for him to be able to use that as leverage against me. So I basically say, no, I just want to move out. And at the same breath, I wasn't thinking about anything other than I don't want to wear out my welcome being in the house. I want to move out, and if something happens, I can look at him and say, can I come back to your place? Just stay a couple of months again, and then until I find a place again, right? That was my idea. It was going good. We had an okay relationship, and I didn't want to wear it out. So, like I said before, we have the evidence of what he said over text, and also on speakerphone recorded what he said to me in terms of, not being able to not being able to pay me and whatever it is, etc. So I'm like, he's like, he doesn't have the money and everybody's trash and nobody wants to help him. I'm like, dude, so where did the money from summer camp go? You understand? Where did all that money that you collected go? You understand? Yeah, I'm like, dude, I have not been paid for summer camp. I need to get paid. I have a child. Like, you can't constantly be like, I can't go home to my wife and child and basically look at them and say, oh, oops, sorry, that didn't get paid. You know, there are shit people at the gym and my boss didn't pay me. I can't go home and tell my family that I need to be paid. She's like, okay, I'll see what I can do, but let's make a deal with the house. Let's make a deal. So it's like every time this guy didn't want to pay me any money that goes above, like, say, even 3 grand, 4 grand, he comes up with a bullshit story to try and manipulate my feelings, tug at my heartstrings, that the business is going on, does something bad happen to him, whatever it is. And then he says something like, let's make a deal with the house. All right, so I want to give my wife an opportunity to talk about how she felt with this situation, like how she felt with certain things. And I'm just gonna be quiet. She's gonna talk about, from her perspective with all of these things. So, it's gonna be up to you, honey. You can take it away and stuff like that.
Well, this whole situation was very foreign to me because as an American, I cannot even fathom working for somebody and not getting paid. I started working in October of 2014 with my first job, and I always got payment. Always. It was never a thought in my mind that I was not going to get paid. I didn't even know that what immigrants go through. I'm from a sanctuary city. I'm from Philadelphia. You come in contact with a lot of different immigrants from different nations, and you will see them standing outside, like
Home
at
Depot.
Home Depot, 5:30 in the morning, looking for work.
Looking for work.
And I never understood what they went through or how hard their life was until I met my husband. And I'm telling him this isn't right. You need to stand up for yourself. But I'm thinking through my lens. I'm
Privileged American.
I am. I am. Because in my mind it's like, all right, it's an HR that you can go to report them.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Even like Americans, we have like this plaque on the wall that states our employee rights. And it's mandated in America that every business has that plaque hung up. Even when we filed for our business, we had to get that plaque. Well, we had to actually or get a letter with the plaque, and it's mandated. So I know my rights. I was every job that I went through. I maybe had maybe 6 jobs in my entire life, working in different places, and I always would see that plaque. And then again, I never had a problem with my employers because I knew every 2 weeks, every Thursday or every Friday, I was going to get paid. I knew that direct deposit was going to be in my account.
What were your feelings whenever I came back and told you um the bullshit stories of what he constantly was saying of why I'm not getting paid? How did you feel about that?
I thought it was strange at first because he seemed like such a nice person.
That's what he made himself to seem like.
And then like it's like he increased the temperature on his madness.
Yeah.
Like slowly but surely from the point of um
Us moving in.
yeah, it's been a crazy ride. And like I said, as an American, I know my rights. If something were to happen to me, I know I can call the police. I don't have to worry. I don't as a black woman. Yes, it's the police. Some things can happen, but as an American, I know my rights. I know they can't just come in my house, search. But when you're Not an American.
Who do you call?
Who do you call? I
Mm-hmm.
know as an American, as long as I'm not working under the table, once I sign that contract for a new job, I knew every 2 weeks I'm gonna get paid. And if it was something wrong with my check, say if a zero was off or something like that, or it was a problem with my taxes, I know I can go down to the HR department and they will handle it. Like I always worked for corporations during my whole career period. It was always someone there to assist me or to help me. So when my husband was telling me all these stories, even prior to us moving into this house, he was telling me about the story about his horrible bosses, even a boss where he worked for 2 weeks and he never got paid for it.
Didn't get to wash my clothes.
I can't imagine living this type of life. I can't. I can't. As an American, I can't. And to this day, it's just something in me because I live in America. It's like, I gotta do something. I gotta call somebody. I gotta tell somebody about this. You know?
What were your thoughts when he owed us the $12,000? And I showed you. I mean, I know we were both like dancing around and getting ready to go on a date and like starting to calculate how we were going to use the money. But what were your thoughts when you heard that we weren't going to get paid that $12,000 that he owed us?
Anger, rage. Like I felt like taking the car and going to his house, knocking on his door, or if he was not home, going to his business and lighting him up in front of everybody.
Oh, right. Oh, so I wanna just I don't wanna cut you there, but I wanna say a quick thing, a quick statement. So while he was basically not paying me from time to time, he would tell people in the gym that we were here living in his house for free. And when I had caught wind of this, when there was a particular person who was running their mouth about the situation and saying stuff, I basically came to this person and said, "Who told you that?" She's like, "Oh, he did." So I basically brought this person to the office to confront him about it. So when I confronted him about it, this dude basically lied that he never said anything like that for a full 5 minutes. I believe it was 5 minutes because we were there for quite a while. So for a full 5 minutes, this dude was lying through his teeth that he promises he would never say anything like that. He knows I'm a hard worker. Everybody is trash and bullshit. Do you understand the constant manipulation and stuff like that? So basically now, in front of this person, I basically confronted him and said, "Listen, dude, if you were paying me, which you aren't, I would have been able to rent somewhere else because I wouldn't be renting from you right now." You understand? So, I just put him on the spot. So, even then, the relationship, it still did not, between him and I, it didn't even sour at that point in time. The relationship started to sour like 2020 when COVID hit. And that's the next video that we're going to get into. Like I said before, we haven't even scratched. This is just an introduction to this type of person. Right? And the reason why I'm pinpointing the gym is because I want people to know who it is without saying that person's name. You understand? And like I said before, everything that we say right now, we have the evidence to back it up. We have the evidence to back it up because we went to court for it. Right? And he lost. The one with the housing thing, of course, it's his house. That's different. But when we took him to court, he lied through his teeth and he lost because of the evidence that we presented to the judge. Right? It had gotten so bad that the next time that we came before a judge, his attorney did not lie. His attorney did not lie. At that point, I was shocked and surprised. I was like, I was getting ready with more evidence and more documentations to slay this man with. But he did not. When his attorney told the truth, I was shocked. I was shocked the man didn't lie. You understand what I'm saying? My wife was shocked. And we were pregnant with KJ at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were pregnant with our second child, KJ Kermani Jr. at the time. Um, in any case, I'm gonna allow my wife to continue talking. I didn't mean to cut her, but I just wanted to talk about that quick situation and stuff. So we're talking about the $12,000 of of not getting that and thing, and how you felt about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was very, very enraging for me because we had a 1 year old daughter to take care of. She was almost one. We had a little baby to take care of, you know. It got to the point where I would stretch her diapers. You know, when the baby is uh, young from newborn stage to about 9 months, you know, you're changing that diaper every 2 to 3 hours. You know, just so they won't get a diaper rash, so that where their skin is healthy and stays healthy. You know, and all the moms out there know butt cream is expensive. Well, it's not expensive when you're getting paid, but when you don't have any money, that $10 or $11 can make you or break you. And you know the situation with the talc. I didn't want to use baby powder with her. They didn't come out yet with the
lawsuits about talcum powder.
Well, yeah, the talc-free baby powder, but it was going around. I didn't want to use that for her, you know. And my only other remedy was to use Vaseline, and that was too thin. It's more of a preventive measure than to heal an actual diaper rash. Well, it got to the point one night where I was changing her diapers twice a day, and mind you, this was the stage from, I want to say, 4 to 9 months. I was changing her diaper twice a day because we could not afford the diapers. We went from buying Pampers diapers to Huggies. We just kept going down the line.
Yep.
And not to say anything,
burning through our savings.
And not to say any of these brands are better than the others, but you know, some of the cheaper brands, the absorbency is not there, and we will buy the cheaper store-bought brand of diapers, and I was keeping those diapers on for a 6-hour period sometimes. I mean,
give her a lot of
6
rash.
to 12-hour period sometimes. And it was one night my husband came home and I was going to change her diaper for night. Mind you, I had that diaper on probably since mid-morning, because at that point she was only pooping once or twice a day, so it was fine. It wasn't fine, but I had to make it work. I took her diaper off and I heard her scream. And I didn't know what was wrong. I looked down, and the pores of her private parts were bleeding because I pulled the diaper off, and her skin came off with it. That was the lowest point for me as a mother. I couldn't take care of my child. It was so bad I had to sit her in the tub, soak her private parts, put her on a towel just to let it breathe. And of course she was like, I want to say between the ages of 4 and 9 months old. I can't really remember, but she was active. She was already crawling around. So it was hard for me to make her stay on the towel. It was just a horrible situation. I didn't know what to do. Diapers were expensive. Wipes were expensive for us.
And we didn't want to ask people for money. We didn't want it to look like we couldn't take care of our own child. So it wasn't even about pride or embarrassment. We just wanted to make sure that we were the ones taking care of our child. We didn't want people to feel sorry for us. We wanted to even make it through this and make it better for our child as well. So that's why I said that earlier. I started to grind more because, neither of them deserve this. I was the one who basically, when my wife and I met, we decided, I said, all right, you're going to stay home. You're going to take care of the children. I'm going to be out there working. And when we first got married, yes, it was working. It was working. And it will work if people don't rob you. Because that is not your fault. If you are out there as a man doing what you're supposed to do, people who owe you money. I mean, look at that part in Fence, where the guy, when Denzel Washington told the boy, don't care about what people think about you. Just care about the fact that they're supposed to be doing right by you. And that's what I cared about. I cared about the fact that this guy was supposed to be doing right by me because I worked, I did my job, I was supposed to get paid for it. And I didn't. And somehow I still felt it was my fault. And I was doing my best to remedy the situation. Whether it was burning through savings or whether it was even doing some side jobs and stuff like that, cutting people lawn, cutting this guy. I mean, we're gonna get into that later on, but back to what my wife is saying.
And it really took a toll on our marriage.
Yes.
When I first had my daughter, you know, for the ladies out there that have kids, once your milk comes in, you're more ravenous than before you were with child. I mean, with the actual baby.
Yeah.
I never felt hunger pains like that in my life, and the fact that
she ate all my snacks.
I ate, and that's the thing.
She ate all my snacks.
I had to eat.
She didn't want any of them. She didn't want any of them when I was picking them up in the supermarket. But the minute she get hungry, she ate all my snacks.
Yes, postpartum breastfeeding pains are no joke. No joke at all. You actually have to eat more after you have the kids. I think you have to eat 400, 500 calories more every day when you're breastfeeding. You only have to eat 300 to 350 calories during the third trimester. So you have to eat more when you're breastfeeding. And I was having these pains, but we couldn't afford food. My breast milk suffered. It suffered greatly, and we couldn't afford food.
To be honest with you, when we hit rock bottom, we actually had to use her mom's food stamps, and that was the biggest shame that we will ever have. And we were paying taxes too at that time. So we're working, we're not getting paid, we're paying rent, we're paying light, we're paying water, right? And we had to use food stamps at the same time. All right, I'm just painting a picture for you people because the worst is yet to be said. Believe me, this is like a soft core thing compared to what he's going to be doing next with his manipulation. All right, go ahead, babe.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. I mean, I needed at least 3 to 5 meals a day, especially a lot of protein. So I was trying to eat a lot of chicken and fish and beef and stuff. And normally pre-pandemic, meat wasn't expensive. Especially if you go to like a Aldi or Walmart, you can get
we love Aldi's. Aldi's was like the money saver.
It was.
Aldi's was like the money saver to us, and then Walmart became the next money saver. So we'd go to Aldi's, get the chicken, and then drive from Aldi's and go right to Walmart and get whatever else we needed, too, as well.
I mean, it was bad. My breast milk dried up, and then we had to switch her to formula. And formula is very expensive. Very expensive.
And milk.
Like $30 for a container of formula. Which, if you're working, you can get it. You're middle class, you can get it. You just have to budget around. But when you're not getting paid, I'm like putting too much water in a bottle trying to dilute the actual formula.
When she should not be doing that. That's the whole point that we're making right now.
Because that can kill a child. I didn't know that. That can kill a child. Overhydration can kill a child.
The point we're trying to make to you people is this. Is that, people always talk about don't make children unless you can take care of them. Well, if you're working and you're supposed to be paid, then you'd be able to take care of your children. The fact of the matter is that I was working. I worked a job in which if I was paid, I would be able to provide for my family. She wouldn't have to work or anything like that, but I was not being paid. So it isn't my fault. But I did regardless. We did regardless. We started to like pick up the slack and start to like make a little bit of headway. You understand? We did something called Amazon M-Turk. And that paid for our gas. So with Amazon M-Turk paying for our gas, and there was a point in time where she made $100 off of M-Turk and surveys and things like that. It's like those little things, we start to use it and start to like cover that stuff, and then we start to like put some money aside. We were able to start to save again and put a little money aside so that we start to build back up our savings a little bit. But like I said, in the next video we're gonna talk about what happened pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, after the pandemic, that even ate up that money.
And people may ask, why didn't she go to work? If I were to went to work, I would have had no one to watch my child. So, because my mother, she's elderly. Like, my mother is 75 years old now.
Listen.
And it's $250 to $300 per week for childcare. Where are we going to get that money?
Where are we going to get that money from?
And plus gas.
Grocery, electricity, rent.
Because the field of work I was in, I could have got... well, my license is expired anyway, so I wasn't even licensed anymore at this point.
Yeah, she was a phlebotomist. You know, people would draw your blood. That was her.
I was a laboratory technician.
And a laboratory technician. Yes, thank you, thank you, darling. She was a lab tech as well. You know, I draw people blood and I look upon people when them catch AIDS and all them thing there. So, any last, you know, things before we close out the video? Anything that you want to say before you close out the video?
No, I mean, it is what it is at this point, and
yeah,
people have their way and Yahweh has his way.
Yep. So just look out for the next video. Hopefully we can make it before the weekend and put it out by this weekend. Yeah, that's it for us. Peace. We're out.